So my name's Karin. I am a paranormal investigator, and I'm lucky enough to be part of the Jamaica Paranormal team, which, with my love of history, is like a heaven or present come true. The Jamaica Inn, it's famous for its smuggling and its ghosts, but its history is the true defining part of it, and the hidden history especially. Jamaica Inn is a beautiful 18th century building situated high up on the desolate Bodmin Moor in Cornwall. It was made famous in 1936 by the book of the same name by Daphne du Maurier. So, like with all history can change when new documents and new factual information comes to light. Everyone believed that Jamaica Inn was built in 1750. Some reports say there was an inn on the site since the 1500s. We now know categorically that the inn was actually built in 1776. Bourventure didn't exist, it was open moorland. The Jamaica Inn to me, as an investigator, is the perfect study case. It has history, it has eeriness, it has ghosts, and the setting on this fabulous Bodmin Moor, with history going back thousands of years. You know, it is the dream come true for everything you can imagine. To live and breathe, to stay there, to breathe. The walls just ooze the fabulous history that it gives. Well, the Jamaica Inn gave me my first paranormal experience. Many, many years ago, I happened to be on a public paranormal night, and I was in the museum with a group of people, and I had some bracelets I put on the floor because they were calling for any children to come forth. And to me it was so weird but so exhilarating to see an image of a girl around about 7 or 8 with a dark dress and a white overdress, so quintessential Victorian girl. But it was a beautiful long blonde curly hair, but it was in strips that you could see her. And it lasted about 2 or 3 minutes. And that was the moment I fell in love with the Jamaica Inn. So over the years, I've had very, very interesting, strange things happen to me. Room 5, I was staying there with a friend, and we had footsteps walk around from my side to the other side of the bed. Clear defined, but not on carpet, on wood. One of the other interesting things is a small shadow figure, the image of a child, but in shadow form. Now, I witnessed that at the lower restaurant, and we had some guests sat on the steps of the gift shop, and they heard the pitter-patter of tiny feet go running in past them into the shop. In the museum especially, you hear voices, you see shadows. I've seen a pair of feet walk past under a display unit. And recently, room 6 and the corridor outside the famous haunted rooms, voices and a woman singing when there was no one there or in any of the rooms at the time. So the smuggler boards concept came about because we were sat chatting one day as a team, and we realised that we were having all these experiences told to us, but we weren't actually cataloguing them or writing them down and to collect it as proper data. So that was how the smugglers board was conceived. So it's a big board, and it has each part of the inn, like bedroom 3 to 6, the museum, the upper and lower bars, restaurants. So when ourselves or guests have something that they consider may be paranormal related, they write it down, and then Rachel from the team correlates it all together, and it has built up this vast array of shared paranormal experiences. And with the interviews that I conduct with staff and guests that are there outside of the paranormal nights, we now have a record of the real paranormal experiences. So it keeps it real and not so much a folklore. Like a lot of places, we don't claim that the Jamaica Inn is haunted by lots of spirits, but over the years, the ones that seem to show themselves again and again are Jack, the naughty, mischievous spirit that resides in the main bar. He likes to push glasses over and grab people's right buttock, sometimes on command. James Broad, the son of the original owner, is seen as this big man. A little girl, a little boy, a woman in a mock cap, a Victorian lady with her hair in a high bun has been seen in the gift shop and in bedroom 27 and 23. There also seems to be a man in a hunting outfit with 2 hunter dogs. The Jamaica Inn in the late part of the 1800s was used as a base for shooting parties. So you would hire the dogs and horses, etc., to go shooting on the moor. An old woman in a mock cap has been seen. And lately, but surprisingly, the last few years, a gentleman who seems to come from the American Air Force, a parachutist. Now, that shouldn't be surprising because Cornwall, just before D-Day, had over 8,000 US troops, and the Jamaica Inn was very popular with the Americans because it was a quintessential Old English inn. To me, the experiments on our public paranormal nights is to show people that not everything is paranormal. Our minds, our eyes can trick us all the time. And when you conduct these experiments, it's interesting to see people's belief systems come to the fore. So things like table tipping, we will explain the science behind it, how it's really not real, but we'll also explain the spiritual side, and it's up to the individual to take away what they think might be a paranormal experience. We're not going to say anything's paranormal, it's up to them to decide. My most memorable experience was being in the manager's flat on my own. It was late at night, we just finished a public night, and I was on the phone to one of the other team that was driving home to keep her awake, basically. And I heard man's boots come up the stairs. Now, thinking it's a guest, not realising it was the sound of boots on wood and not thickly carpeted steps. I then thought, hang on, the footsteps have stopped. Now, the door into the flat didn't lock, so anyone could walk in, but this was 3:30 in the morning. And then I thought, it must be a guest. And I thought, if the guest comes in, he's going to have a fright seeing me in a bed. And, you know, at my age, I doubt if you'll find that very attractive. So I'm on the phone. I said, there's someone outside the door. The next minute, I hear the footsteps walk around the bed. But again, not on carpet, on floorboards. That is when I actually put the quilt over my head. So, as an investigator, We all like to investigate a building to its best potential, and at Jamaica Inn, as investigators, we thought that the most likely way to get the best out of it is to do a sleepover event, and that is taking all the bedrooms in the old block, which are all haunted and have paranormal experiences, and with like-minded investigators, you could hire it yourself or do a team share, or we'll provide a hire if it's like members 2-3 in a team, and then you get the potential of investigating the whole part of the inn, especially when the residents and the guests have gone for the night. And at 2 or 3 in the morning, there's nothing better than wandering the corridors and the bars of this wonderful place. I must admit, I laugh when people say, oh, the most haunted part is bedroom 5, or it's in the main bar. It varies. Week in, week out, you'll find there's a trend. So you'll get reports, say, from the lower restaurant. Then that will die a death, and then it will be bedroom 3. So you can never pinpoint it. What you can say is there seems to be freedom of will. And they'll go everywhere, even in the new part. So when people ask why do you investigate at night, the only reason is because it's quieter noise-wise. But most people have paranormal experiences during the day, especially at the Jamaica Inn. When I remember a case of a lady that used to look after the museum. A family came in with 2 young boys. They paid for their tickets. They went round the museum. As they came out through the other door, they thanked the lady behind the desk, and the lady said, well, hang on, you're missing one of your boys. And they said, we came in only with 1 child. So who was the other child?